Hi, my name is Peter.
And I'm Ketmia.
Welcome to the This and That Chat. So this is going to be our first episode of the This and That Chat. And it's kind of exciting.
I agree.
You guys are going to have to get used to the giggling. That is a normal part of the day.
The thing is that it's a little bit weird to be in complete silence on my end, waiting for the music to stop because only you can hear what's happening, and I have to play off of you when we're doing introductions. So that's why it was funny. But
So you want me
moving
to
along,
I'll buy you some headphones.
I digress.
So, yeah, so you're going to get a little bit of some insanity from us because that's who we are.
And I think that's probably what inspired you to, I don't know, air our conversations via podcast.
Well, listen, if I'm having as much fun in our conversations, then I think others will enjoy it too. I think it'll be... it's like a window into a whole... It's like Narnia. You remember?
You know what the thing is? I'm just... Okay, where are you going?
It's the closet. Listen.
It's the wardrobe.
Guys, be ready. Because the wardrobe is about to be opened. And you guys are going into a whole other world.
But first, I mean, we need to introduce people to who we are, right? And, well, you can start first.
Okay. Well, I am Peter. And I've been married to this woman for 21 years almost. And,
no, wrong. Almost 22 years. No, I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Damn
you're
it.
wrong. It's
Oh my
been
God.
an
That's
eternity.
Listen, that's the second fail I've had this week.
Yep.
Where
yeah.
my brain is having a malfunction. Wow. I don't know if that's a good thing that I feel like it's been longer than it has, even though it's just a year. But wow, props to you. I think husbands everywhere are frowning at you for being so good at remembering that.
Take notes, guys. Take notes.
Wow, good for you. Yes, so it'll be 21 years.
Yep, on April 8th.
Yes,
So
correct.
we're just a couple months away.
Correct.
A month? It's only a month and 8 days away.
Damn. Wow. Okay, well, put a pin on that. And we're going to come back to it. Literally put a pin on it because we'll forget to talk about it.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'm putting a pin. Boom, the pin.
A pin means take a paper and a pen and write it down. But I'm Ketmia. And yes, we got married really young, right out of high school, pretty much.
Okay, hold on. We were not high school sweethearts, though.
No, but stay tuned because I think we should do like a few episodes perhaps leading up to, I don't know, how we met, how we fell in love, all that stuff for our anniversary week.
Okay,
I think
that sounds fun.
I think that would be fun.
I think people would enjoy listening the insanity that was the beginning of our marriage.
Yeah.
Or the beginning of our courting.
Okay, yeah, okay. But we have 2 kids, and our son will be 21 this year, and our daughter is turning 19 this year as well. So we are young parents with older kids, which is really awesome because we have friends. We know people who started having kids just a few years ago.
Well, we know someone who's
currently
starting
pregnant.
Yeah. Listen. Thank God that we started when we did, because now so we didn't even say how old we were. We're 39, both of us. We're only 10 days apart, and so we grew up together.
Yeah.
Literally.
But you're going into our story.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You've got to stay out of that.
Tune in for the rest
Yes,
of that story.
you've got to come back for the rest of it. But yeah, I mean, just having older kids, it just feels like we've done our growing and we're in this really awesome season where we're still young and we can still enjoy things and we don't have to worry about bedtimes and homework and all of those things where it's really pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I feel though like I have to insert some sort of a public service announcement and strongly encourage any young viewers or listeners not to rush into marriage at 18 years old. I think being 18 back when we were 18 is really different than being 18 now.
I definitely agree with that. We have an 18-year-old daughter.
Right.
And a 20-year-old that tell us that what the heck were we doing?
Yeah.
First of all. And second
But it was
of all,
just a
it
different
really
world.
Yeah, it's very different.
And I don't know, because I know that a lot of people, they really hate the whole, back in my day when I used to go to school, I had to walk a mile barefoot.
Uphill both ways
right,
and 4
right,
feet
in the
of snow.
snow.
In South Florida.
Not. But I don't know. I think that there are older people who agree, just as I think our parents, when they were 18, it was vastly different than when we were 18 as well. Because I don't know. We have to look this up, but how long has it been since teenagers was a thing? Because I think you go back to the 20s and there was no such thing as teenagers. You were a child and then you were an adult. There was responsibility, there was all of that. We'll have to Google search that. A plug-in for Google. But, that's something it's changed, and it was different. And even back when we got married, it was definitely a risk that we took in doing that. Oh, so you found that.
Yeah. So according to Google, and I'm just going to read it word for word here, it says, during 1944, Americans started to use the word teenager to describe the place of youth in their society. From the very beginning, it was a marketing term that recognized the spending power of adolescence. So it wasn't even like, it was a marketing tool to sell stuff to people.
Interesting. That's very interesting. And I'm sure that that's where teenagers struggle with an identity of, am I a child? I'm not a child anymore, but I'm not an adult either. And I think even more so now, that's become a thing where, it's just different. But so, you were the one really behind this idea, behind this podcast, which when you told me about it, I thought, wow, that's kind of an interesting, I want to hear more about that, right? Because, I don't know, do you want to kind of talk about why you thought about doing a podcast?
So, I listen to a lot of different podcasts, and I found that it really kind of helped my day kind of move, I don't know if quicker is the word, but it
did fill your space.
It filled my space while I was working and doing and, whatever. And there wasn't, I never found a podcast that was just people being who they are, just kind of talking and that kind of stuff. I had seen some stuff that was kind of similar to it, but as I started to dig more, I found some people that I enjoyed listening to as they were talking about normal stuff, and then I thought, I think we're interesting enough.
And that's, and listen, not to toot our horn or anything, okay? But I do think that things that happen to us sometimes, we've had this conversation. I wonder do other couples talk about the stuff that we talk about? Do they think the way that we think? Do they wonder the things that we wonder? And you know what this kind of reminds me of is that whole thing that they're doing on social media that's called a mukbang. Is that what it's called? A mukbang? I don't even know what the correct term for it is.
Go ahead, define it.
Okay, but listen, you guys can look this up. Okay, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but whoever the recorder is essentially invites viewers to see them eating food from different places. And there's no conversation happening. You're just watching people eat. And I think this is something that actually started in the middle of the pandemic, just as something new, right? But it, when I thought about doing the podcast, for me, it was just, I mean, have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a fly on a wall?
What?
You know how they say the term "the fly on the wall," so you can hear people's conversations because you want to eavesdrop.
Okay, so
Okay.
we are essentially reversing that and giving people
Yes.
the audio without
Yeah.
having to be a fly.
Yeah. Like I have no idea how this podcast is going to be received or what people are going to think about it. But one thing that is important for me that we discussed is that we don't edit ourselves, because that's what I want to offer people is just an invitation to join our conversation
Yeah,
or listen to our conversations, I guess.
So we're definitely not wanting to put time limits on our conversation or cutting out stuff that we don't want people to hear or whatever. We just want it to be here we are. It's Peter and Ketmia, and you get what you get. And at the end of that, we'll say, come join us next week.
Hopefully you want to come back and you want to hear us again.
And we want to be and one thing that we definitely want to be able to do is we want to interact with people. So, we have our social media set up. It's on Instagram. It's the this and that chat, completely spelled out. Message us there, and we'll get back to to everyone as best as we can. We're gonna have stuff on YouTube, and we're just starting, so there's a lot that's gonna be a little bit of slow going. But we definitely want it to be something that we can engage with people, and if there's subjects that you want to hear about or something
questions that people want to ask
or whatever.
I would love. I am envisioning the day where one of our podcasts is, maybe a time segment of that is just dedicated to answering people's questions and stuff.
That would be cool.
That would be cool, because I think that, when I look at Instagram, which is the only social media that I have, it really is people's highlight reels, and so it's really everything that you see is how can I say, it's posed. What's the word I'm looking for?
Oh, it's all staged.
It's staged, yeah. It's staged, and not in a bad way, clearly, right? Because you want to take a nice picture of whatever it is that you're trying to showcase, whatever. I do that too when I'm posting pictures on my Instagram. But this podcast is, that's not what I want for this, I think that in 21 years of marriage, we have gone through so many funny things, hard things, learning experiences. I just feel like there's such an array that we have to talk about, and there's so many times where I have thought about writing a book about our life, which is not off the table yet, but still, this feels more achievable. I think
you can call it the this and that book.
A guide to the this and that podcast.
Yeah, we have so many things that we just love to share when we get even when we get together with people that we know. There's always a curiosity, and we've always wondered why that curiosity is there. But I don't know. I guess we're interesting enough to with our experiences and the stuff that we've had. That
I don't think
it's gonna be
interesting
fun.
is a good word at all. I think we are quirky and just weird, and
We
I think that's people's curiosity is how are these two still together, and how do they function throughout their day
yeah, we don't match. That's for sure.
with each other or with other people.
With each other.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true.
W-
I'm definitely the more. Oh no, I have a better idea. You describe me, and I'll describe you.
Oh boy, this will be
I don't want
fun.
to say no. Just 3 words, 3 adjectives to describe.
Can I take the fifth? I'm gonna be on the couch tonight. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. 3 adjectives. Um, loopy. Um, loopy came to mind right away.
That's good. You see, you're thinking about it too much. You're just supposed to say 3 words that come to your mind.
Yeah. So okay. So loopy, quirky for sure, um, and unpredictable.
I like those. I give you 5 stars for that.
Yeah.
And I would say that you are more reserved, serious, and um, there is no adjective for this, but you put up with me, and I do think I've rubbed off on you in some ways.
So how? Wait. I didn't get a third adjective though.
I know because that was just elusive to me.
That's not fair.
But I'm saying instead of the adjective, I'm filling in with you.
I put up with you.
Yeah, you get me. That's what I'm trying to say. You get me. You let me be me. And I do make
I'm
you laugh. I
patient.
live for that, to make you laugh with stuff.
I'll give myself the adjective.
Okay, what is it?
Patient.
Yeah, okay. You can have that. That's true.
Yeah. There's a lot of patience required here.
I mean, it has been 21 years.
Yeah.
So,
And in an interesting 21 years.
definitely, for sure. But, even when we committed to doing the podcast, I was super excited at first when the thought of it, right? Just because I like journaling, and this felt in a way like we were journaling together. And that's something that we do a lot, is not the journaling part. I'm saying we do things together. And to me,
Well,
it's
we do.
much more fun when we do
almost
things
do
together.
everything together.
That is true. The only thing we don't do together is the falling asleep part together. Okay, but we'll leave that for another day.
10 points to Gryffindor. So I guess since we're airing out grievances,
We should have a part of the podcast that airs out grievances. This is a neutral zone.
hold on. I got to defend myself because that's not fair.
We haven't even given context
Well,
for this.
I'm going to defend myself either way, with or
I
without
think a
context.
lot of couples are actually going to relate to this.
I wake up at 4:30 in the morning to go to work.
Hold on, let's set the stage here, okay? This is the grievance. The grievance is that you fall asleep the moment we sit down to watch something together. But, folks,
Okay,
this is the
what
kicker.
time?
This
Wait.
is the kicker. Hold on.
What
Hold
time
on.
are we sitting
The
down?
kicker is that you are the one who insists that we watch TV. And then you fall asleep in the middle of our show or the movie, and that's it. I'm up for the next 2 hours because I prepped with a quick power nap so that I could stay up, because there are times where I'm positively sure, I'm so exhausted that day, I'm positively sure 9 o'clock, 9:30, you're going to be out. And that is the day that you decide to stay up until midnight. And I can't get that. So go ahead. You wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
4:30.
Okay.
We'll be fair.
And then you insist on staying up late.
Well, no, because we plan on sitting down to watch whatever we're gonna watch, and it takes 2 hours to get to the couch. So I'm exhausted by then.
Yes, people, we have such a massive house. It takes us 2 hours to get to the couch.
The trek is like Lord of the Rings. Frodo getting to Mordor.
Have you seen that video that somebody did about why didn't the Eagles just fly Frodo to
Yeah.
Mount Mordor?
Hmm.
Right?
Is it Mount Mordor?
I don't know. I
No,
think
you
so.
said Mount Mordor.
I want to say it is. No.
It's
Mount,
just Mordor. Mordor.
maybe,
Mordor.
I don't know. We are going to have, somebody's going to kill us for this. We're going to have to look that up. But they could have just flown there. They didn't have to do this entire long trek, but then there wouldn't be 3 movies. And I'm not,
Or 6 movies or whatever
well, yeah.
movies.
But I love those movies, so
They're good.
I'm glad they made 6 of them. So, this is another thing that people are, we're kind of asking people to just come along for the ride with us because there's going to be a million rabbit trails that come out of our conversations. I think you have gotten really good, pretty good, I would say, at following my changing speed because it's me. It's me who goes off on a trail. It just happened to us right now.
I have no choice.
I know, but you asked me something about what did I want for breakfast, and then I answered something about the laundry room, and you were like, "That's not the question I asked, but okay," and you just go on with me.
I mentioned it so that you're aware of the fact that you've created a rabbit trail.
Yeah, I'm aware, but
I don't know.
yeah, but so yeah, that's why we named it the This and That Chat.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be, there's just little tidbits of everything. And, we kind of have an idea of what we want to talk about. I think every episode we have a skeleton man, and then we have to dress him. But how we dress him and with what we dress him, that's undetermined.
Can we address as to why you used a skeleton man?
I actually was thinking of a scarecrow.
Hold on. A skeleton man as the visual to be dressed up because skeletons walking down the street get dressed up all the time.
I was saying, like, in my mind, I was thinking of a scarecrow, but skeleton's what came out. But I went with skeleton because
we have a
you
skeleton
have bones
sitting on our table.
We do have a
in
skeleton.
The living room.
We do.
In the kitchen.
We do. And that is plainly for school because that's another thing, right? So Peter has his own business, and at this age and this stage of my life, I decided to go back to school. So
full time.
Yes. So we were definitely in exciting places, and Mr. Bones, which is the skeleton, is going to help me ace anatomy. So, but back to the skeleton reference, right? You put flesh on a skeleton. And okay, I know that's kind of gross, but let's just go with we've got the bones for something and we're going to build off of that.
Okay.
So that's the idea with the this and that. And I told you about my English professor said that words like this and that are so vague that they can only be used if they're followed by something that is giving more context or more significance. So
our responsibility is to give context.
Exactly. And significance to, again, meat on bones.
Meat on bones.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk. I want to talk about our logo because that was fun.
I love our logo.
Yeah.
I want to pull it up and see it again.
So, so the logo, if you look at it, it has 2 cups of coffee and some faces on there. And those faces are very familiar to us because the artist that drew them used our pictures for reference.
And that was something I did not know when I saw it. I'm looking at it right now. I did not know that you had given him a picture of us.
Well, I thought it would be really cool to have that in there.
I mean, it's definitely a nice touch because when I first saw it, first thing I noticed was the eyes because mine are definitely more Asian and yours are rounder.
Or droopy.
or droopy, whatever you want to call them. But it is so nice. And, I initially had drawn a rough sketch of what I was envisioning our logo to be with the two coffee cups, because that's just a thing. It's actually odd if there's a night that goes by that we don't have a cup of coffee, and we will have a late cup of coffee. There's people who have asked us how in the world we can have coffee so late at night and not have it keep us up. But, I think it runs in our veins and we're immune to its effects. But that's just something that we do. It's a coming together for us when you're home on the weekends and we have our coffee in the morning,
Coffee puts me to sleep. Maybe that's why I fall asleep when we sit on the couch.
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Well, as a kid, that's how I went to bed. Café
Yeah, I know.
con leche in a bottle to go to sleep.
I mean, that's shocking to some parents.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it is.
Yep.
And the coffee cups was just, I felt like it captured something that is, I don't know, normal for us and a coming together for us. We have, like, even on long days when you come home from work, I think that our chatting time where we talk for as much time before we fall asleep is during that little coffee break.
How many times will this be brought up?
Well, we're probably going to get more into that.
Yeah.
But so the logo was really good, but
the process getting that thing put together, goodness gracious.
I mean, you got it super cheap. And I don't know if we got beginner's deal.
I'm not sure. I went on Fiverr, and it was the first time I had ever used Fiverr, and
I've never even heard of this before.
So I went through and I looked at a bunch of different artists and the stuff that they put in there, and I had originally started looking for a different type of logo. So I was searching.
Yeah, what was that? I don't even know. Did you show me that?
No, I think it was just more of an open idea, something to do with bears and a swing. And we kind of went through a bunch of like different stuff, and then you showed me the coffee cup idea, and I went back to the artist that I had originally started talking to, and they were like, I don't know, that doesn't work for me. So I moved on from them, and I went back and I spoke to a couple different artists that I had kind of started conversations with, and this guy, his name is Daniel, and he's from Argentina. So if you're listening, we're talking about your logo, dude. Anyways.
Yes, and we thank you.
So,
and we're sorry.
Yeah, we're very sorry. Yeah, so here comes the interesting part, right? So he
bless his heart. I want to say bless his heart to begin with.
So he was actually really good. It only took a few edits to get
here's
cups.
Here's the thing. He advertised unlimited revisions. You give me unlimited revisions, I mean, you're asking for a nail on your head, a hole in your head.
I'm pretty sure that this guy has retired from Fiverr and has gone to the mountains in Argentina and is now a monk.
Do you know what he reminded me of actually at the end of this? Because how many revisions was it that we actually sent him in total?
At least 10.
That's all? Because it felt like so much more.
Well,
maybe you grouped some of them because I feel like...
Well, we sent the same revision back a few times.
Yeah. Poor child. I mean, I don't know how old this man is, but he was having a hard time understanding what we wanted in terms of our words and everything. But we finally
hold on. Before we go to the words. So he was really good about getting the cups and the design put together fairly quickly. I think that only took a couple revisions.
Yeah.
And the revisions actually came from physically seeing it and noticing that there was something that
Just color
yeah, it was
matches and
opening the eyes. It
yeah,
was just like a couple
adding
different
a
things.
beard.
Yeah, changing the beard because
Oh, that's
um,
right. You had
I looked like an Asian guy
which is
when it started.
which is not a bad thing. It's just you're not Asian. That's the problem,
Yeah.
right? So it was you look like a samurai.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
And that's not the look. I mean, that just didn't really capture your look.
Yeah.
So
So we noticed that right away. We're like, wait, but it doesn't look like us. So I took a picture of us and I sent it to him and I was like, make it look like us. And
right.
So he took
and then I was naked.
and then yeah. So he created me, he put glasses with mine and
And he added the pearls for me.
And whatnot and and Ketmia was naked next to me. It was just a cup with some eyes and then
yeah, there was
a half-drawn
I had no
nose.
eyebrows.
Yeah, there was no
I had
eyebrows
no
or
eyebrows
anything.
either. So there was no lipstick on.
Yeah, it was bad. Well, there was lipstick, but it was a weird color.
It was a brown. It's like I had just made out with chocolate.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah.
And so we sent back. I think it was like 2 revisions just
for that, and he fixed that right up.
And he fixed it right away, and we're like, awesome. We're good to go there. I think we changed the color of the circle in the back a couple times because we weren't sure.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a big of a deal. But when it came to
the
this and that chat,
the words.
Oh my goodness, we sent him so many revisions back and forth. We actually photoshopped and moved the words and
ourselves.
We said, do this. We want it to look exactly like this. And then we'd get it back and it looked nothing like that.
Yeah, I don't know why it was so hard. You know, sometimes though, it is true that when you're communicating to someone via text, there's something lost.
It was a picture.
I get it. I'm not trying to super excuse him. I'm just saying, I think it would have been so much easier if he could pick up the phone and we could have talked to him and just said, listen, dude, we're only asking for this, right?
I don't know.
I think we mixed him up with telling him fix this and this and that.
I sent him a picture and I put the little hand emoji pointing up and I said, do this exactly like this. Put the words, everything in the exact same spot, exactly like the picture. And he still sent it back wrong.
I know. But then he finally sent it back right. And it was off by a hair. Oh my God. And so then this is where you have to get like super nitty gritty. Because I just kept thinking, I know that we didn't pay him a lot for it, but still, we did hire him to do something for us. And the last thing you want
it was his price. Because it's a name your price thing. So like, you know, I told him what it is that we wanted, and he's like, okay, it's going to be this much. And I was like, for real? Like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, sign me up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you know, that's the value that he put onto his work.
And it's a really small logo anyway. You know, I'm sure that, I don't know about pixelation and stuff, but.
I mean, he did a really good job. At the end, once we got it all through, I mean, I gave him 5 stars and stuff. He really worked with us.
He really did. And, I mean, I think he was very patient. I was worried that at some point he was going to start, like, ignoring our messages because it became about, can you move it a hair to the left and angle it a hair to the right? And
up a little bit and down to the left and
yes,
goodness,
it was definitely something.
It got picky at the end, but that's okay.
But we love it. Yeah. That's the thing is we love it, and I love it, and it captures everything so well. I really did have this vision of I Love Lucy, and I don't know why there's this. I don't know. I get like this I Love Lucy vibe from it, you know, which kind of I feel sort of influenced even our intro music. You know, there's like a retro, old-fashionedness to it, which is something that I really, really love. So.
Yeah, so even though I know we're technically still young because we're only 39, but we have a lot of retro influence, I think, in a lot of the stuff that we do and a lot of stuff that we like.
More so myself than you.
Well, I don't know.
I think yours was a choice. Mine was forced. Okay. You
Okay.
had a choice to watch Bonanza. Did you ever watch Bonanza?
No.
Okay.
Did
Growing
you?
up, I sure did. I
Okay,
sure
20.
did.
You got listen to it here. 21 years. And this is the first time I've ever heard that she's watched Bonanza.
Because who was on there? It was Pa Ingalls from Little House on the Prairie, Michael Landon. He was the younger son in Bonanza. So it was just like Highway to Heaven. Did you ever watch that?
I've heard of it. I'm sure I've watched a couple of shows, but I don't remember it.
So
I was watching while you were watching Bonanza. I was watching, goodness, Quantum Leap and
yeah, that's probably cable TV.
yeah.
You know, so I did not grow up with any cable TV at all, and the only time that the TV would actually
on.
turn on in
It
my
didn't
house.
It wasn't even about cable TV because TGIF you didn't know anything about.
No,
You
I missed out. See, that this is one of those things where there's a lot of, would you call that pop culture references?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a lot of those things that I still don't get because there's a ton of shows that I've never watched, even to this day, right? I don't understand certain things that you reference and everything because our TV time was movies that we rented from the library. Okay. Somebody
Okay, hold on.
mentioned that just last week.
Quick story.
Yeah.
I gotta jump. I gotta throw
Okay.
this one in there. One time when I came over, this was right at the beginning. I show up at her house. No, we were married already. So we were married and we were visiting your parents, and there, goodness, I guess those details don't matter. But we walked in, and they were watching the oldest, like, looking craziest VHS, like, screen jumping, not even clear picture tarantula movie from 1920.
I think it's called Arachnophobia.
No.
Or Arachnid.
No,
I'm looking this up.
Arachnophobia
Hold on.
was a
I'm
more
looking this up
modern
while you're
movie,
talking.
But I walked in and I'm like, what in the world are these people watching? What is going on here? And Ketmia is the oldest of 8. So imagine these 9 heads, because we walk into this room and there's 9 heads sitting down watching this old movie, and I'm not used to watching those old movies like that.
I found it.
What is it?
It's called Tarantula 1955.
Tarantula 1955.
I remember this movie.
Listen.
Look this. I'm showing you a picture of it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. That is
it.
Oh my goodness.
I think we have to link this on our YouTube.
Yeah, we'll put that on
And
YouTube
it's,
and on
you know,
Instagram.
on IMDb it's rated 6.5, but I have to, and it says here when a tarantula mutates into a giant meat-eating monster,
Goodness.
there's a doctor that has to set out to stop it. And oh, did you ever see It Came from Outer Space? It was the same. It was the same director. But just looking at that, by the way, looking at this now, I've actually wanted to rewatch the movie because I am horrifically terrified of spiders.
Well, if
okay?
that's the only thing you were watching.
No, right. But listen, there is just when I see this now, because you can see the trailer now, and the green screen. Would they have even had that? A green screen?
I'm not even sure if that was a green screen.
Okay, this is probably a teeny tiny wind-up spider.
No,
that they recorded.
That was a real spider that they added on top of everything that they were doing.
Okay, so this layering, I mean, it just looks so fake.
It's horrible.
So fake, okay? But
and the spider, it was always in the background, like
it was. And then sometimes you would only like see the legs on top of people, and it was eating them, and I mean, terrifying.
A big furry noodle that they used, and we're hitting people with it.
But you brought up a good point because that was later on. Okay, so at this point, it's early. I'm in my late teens, early 20s. Okay, when I remember going to Blockbuster. Because at first it was just the library, and whatever the library had, like that's where I watched the movie about Helen Keller. And I'm talking about black and white movies. Movies I watched from the library, Helen Keller, Where the Red Ferns Grow. I mean,
Do you remember? Hold on.
The Secret Garden.
So, the first movie, the first movie that Ketmia sees outside of.
Oh gosh, how embarrassing.
The first movie that she sees outside of her house, okay, is a bootleg copy of American Pie.
Okay, so let's set the stage for this, okay? But you're getting the picture that I've only watched movies from the library. A rating of PG-13, I think,
I don't
was
know.
the
I don't even
highest.
know if it even got to PG-13.
I don't even know. I agree. I don't even know. Okay. And then my life was full of musicals and I Love Lucy, A Little House on the Prairie. It was old, right? So there's like an old, I watched all of the Betty, what's her name? Betty Davis movies, Alfred Hitchcock, those kind of movies, the black and white horror movies. Those were all allowed. Okay. So I'm growing up very sheltered, very unaware of sexuality in movies. Let's say sexuality in general, okay? And the very first movie that I watch with you and two other people,
in the smallest room
possible
in the house,
room. I have no idea what this is going to be about. I don't think
on the smallest little screen because
it was a computer screen.
It was a computer screen.
It was a computer screen.
Bootlegged off of a computer.
Okay. And then I'm watching this. I have no idea what this is about. And all of a sudden, the scene with the pie, I had no idea where to stick my face. But I have to pretend inwardly I'm dying. Outwardly, I'm just, yeah, I'm enjoying this. Sure.
The innocence. The innocence was stripped on that day.
Oh my gosh. And in I feel such a vulgar way because even now I look back and I don't know if it was because it's my first interaction with a movie like that, but even to this day, when I think about American Pie, I think that it is on the vulgar side of sexual comedy, I guess. I don't even know what you'd call that, but to me I don't know, it felt like it went over the line in so many different ways. Stifler's Mom. This is the first time I hear the term MILF. I have no idea what that is. Do you remember the beer cup? You remember the beer cup?
No, wait.
Oh oh God.
I wish you guys could see her face. It still brings up.
I feel like there's like small amounts of trauma from that movie.
And the funny thing was, even in that, was the fact that you wanted to make believe like you kind of were in the inn.
Yeah, of course.
So you kept your mouth shut.
Of course.
And you said nothing.
Of course.
And there was no like.
Who was I going to say something to? Am I going to say, "Oh, people, can you please stop the movie? I'm uncomfortable."
Listen.
I was trying desperately to fit in.
There was no picking up your phone and Googling to find out what it is that you were looking at or understanding some of these terms.
Yeah, there was no IMDb. There was no Google.
Nothing.
Maybe. I don't know if Google existed there. But I had a beeper.
Yeah.
That's what I had.
And when you turned on the internet, it would beep. Or
the fax machine.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like you were calling. You
know,
boy. But anyway, back to the podcast. Yeah, so this is kind of the conversations that we just want to have, right? Where it's, I don't know, it's whatever comes to mind, whatever leads one way or the other, right?
You know, just being able to share some of those
we have so many stories. Oh my gosh.
Stories. It's a lot of fun.
I kind of feel like I'm restraining myself because I think that we could talk for hours.
Yeah. And I mean, this isn't like, listen, we're not doing this to become super famous.
Stop it. We're not going to be famous. Wait.
You're doing this for famous?
The podcast is not paying us for this?
No.
We're doing this for free.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Can I still eject myself from this?
It'll be this chat because that has left.
That is leaving. Oh my
Oh boy.
gosh.
No, but for real, we
Listen,
honestly
if we ever got $1 for our podcast, I'm gonna frame it if that
listen.
ever
Yeah,
happens. Because
if our mess,
to
if
me, this is not us doing something for other people. I am so excited to do this podcast because, again, I'm going back to the journaling, but it feels like we are documenting for our grandkids, for our kids. I mean, our kids are probably tired of hearing a lot of these stories because,
so
I have peppered them with stories throughout the years.
so
But,
I need to keep things PG.
well, maybe you can go in and maybe bleep out certain things because that's, we're going to talk about all kinds of things. And I just think it's so cool that you and I are doing something together that could it be that one day we're going to get to a podcast that we say we've said everything. We have nothing left to talk about.
Yes, the day you bury me in the backyard.
That's going to be a sad day. I don't want to talk about that.
And only it will only end on that day because you have absolutely no idea how to
How to
connect any
operate.
of this stuff.
In fact, I tried to show Mike the podcast intro, and I went over and I hit play because I see a play button.
Oh, but
Okay.
it plays on the backside of it. It's not playing. You
No.
gotta drag it to the beginning.
So there you go. I hit play and there's silence, and I'm thinking, oh no, what if I recorded over it and I deleted everything? And I quickly hit stop and I called you over and I said, hey, can you press it and play? Can you do it, please? I was going to disavow any knowledge of what happened.
And I would have known that you did something because you were sitting there.
Red-handed.
Yeah, red-handed. Goodness. Oh boy. So much fun. There's so much that we can go into and discuss
And we will.
And we will.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So when are we putting up our podcasts?
So the plan that we are going to be executing is so we want to have a weekly episode that will be coming out on Tuesdays. So that you can download them and listen to them.
Like what time? Would that be available in the morning?
Yeah, it'll be available in the morning. It'll be uploaded, I guess, Monday night or whatever, and it'll post ready for people to hear on Tuesdays. And it'll be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
And you talked about putting it on YouTube.
Yeah, so something that actually my son actually helped me see that I was not aware of is that there are a lot of people who are listening to podcasts and different things like that right off of YouTube. So there won't be any video content that's attached to it, at least for right now. Maybe in the future, who knows? But for right now, it's just going to be basically just our logo with the audio running behind it. Because I know that there's still people who use YouTube and then just run the audio and be able to listen to it.
Wouldn't you have to have an Apple phone to be able to get Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, that's why.
Right? If you're on YouTube,
Spotify,
then it doesn't matter. Okay. But you don't have to pay for Spotify?
No.
I think it's a paid subscription.
Well, we're still learning, right? So this is kind of one
and
of those
I'm
things.
asking questions on the fly. I'm sorry if I'm catching you off guard. I'm learning with
and this
the
is the
listeners.
end of this podcast. Goodbye. No. Google Play Store. That's the other one. Goodness, not Spotify.
Oh gosh. I
said Spotify.
I mean, we probably could put it on Spotify.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's free or not. Dang.
It's the Google. Yeah, it's the.
You're advertising things you don't even know yet.
I know.
For sure, we're going to be on Instagram and YouTube.
Listen, you can listen to us on Apple products and on Android. It'll be available. But if you go to our Instagram, the This and That Chat, all spelled out, you'll be able to see right in in the bio. We'll have a link tree with all the different links available. That'll take you directly to that. So if you got Android, you click on that and you
awesome.
You get sent right over.
Yeah, and then
Apple,
Mondays we're
whatever.
gonna post something. Maybe give a little preview of what tomorrow's podcast is gonna be about, essentially.
Yeah, so we'll give you guys a little bit of a taste and be able to kind of get you excited for that next day. And the only thing we can ask is please share it.
Yeah,
Put it out
and
there.
if you enjoy it, give us a follow, a like, a subscription,
A share,
a share.
a,
But
a
mostly,
virtual
I
high
just
five. Send us a message and say, "Hey, you guys suck," or "You guys are awesome."
I mean, yeah,
Listen, we're gonna get them.
we're gonna get it. I know.
And we will have, for the ones who say that we suck, we'll talk about you on our podcast.
We will, because I was actually gonna say that would be if we get. I have seen some awesome YouTubers that I follow that I cannot imagine why anybody would write nasty comments on their YouTube.
Because
Okay.
people will be people.
That's true. That's true, and people behind keyboards, they feel free to tear
listen.
other people down. And
Behind a keyboard, you're 6'7", 350 pounds, and you can lift a car. And then when you look in the mirror, you're $120, 4 foot tall.
you're Vector.
Yeah,
You're Vector from Despicable Me.
Yeah. Goodness.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so if I want our podcast to be uplifting. We're it's raw, it's us, and if people do if we ever get to the nasty comments, I've watched these YouTubers read the comments on their video, and I think it's a way to acknowledge the nasty comments and kind of let them go, because you can't. I feel like when you're putting yourself out there on social media, you're opening yourself up for people to criticize you, to be nasty and mean. But I think we will say a blessing for each of them, and hopefully it reaches them and it turns them around.
There you go.
You know.
I'm not gonna let it bother me.
Like we're way ahead right now. All I want to ask is for people to come back. If you like what you heard, come back.
Okay, so
we have so many things to talk about.
So let's do the outro again. Ready? Rewind. We're starting over. And hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today. No, I'm not gonna do it like that. I think it sounded scripted. Hold on, let me try again. Now I can only think scripted.
Of course. Why would you do that? Yeah. You're done. We're done. I think we're done.
Okay.
We're good. We did our introduction today. We talked about what the podcast is going to be about, which I think is a little bit ambiguous, but things we'll be talking about, definitely marriage, parenting teenagers, college. Ooh, Jakes.
Yeah. It's a big thing in our house right
now. Being
a
homeowner, we've got tons of DIY projects that we are doing. Oh
yeah, that'll be fun.
This is a big year for us for many reasons, so
we'll be talking a little bit about this past year.
All
the craziness of the pandemic.
Yeah, we need to bury this last year that just passed and just do a podcast that is like RIP.
We'll do one
RIP 2020.
Yeah, we'll do one podcast that'll be 73 hours long.
Stop.
I think there's enough content for it.
I mean, yeah.
But anyways, we really just want people to enjoy this time.
And I want to say to the person who has gotten to this part of the podcast right now, thank you so much for staying with us and for listening to our
ramblings.
Our ramblings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what's the guy in Fiddler on the Roof? What does he say? That's not talking. That's babbling. Abram, talk. One of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Talk, Abram.
Abram. Okay. No, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We really did enjoy this time to just be able to share. And really, it's just getting us started. And there's so much more.
Yeah.
So much more. And we are anxiously wanting to be able to share that stuff with you guys.
Yep.
Again, we'll be putting a new episode up every single Tuesday. and they will be content that will be alongside of that we'll be using our Instagram for. We're really going to be focused on using Instagram for any of the sharing
Instagram
stuff.
has exclusive rights to us
they
right
have
now.
exclusive rights. It's just easier for us. We don't want to go too much into the other guys, but Instagram's going to have our stuff exclusively. So if we talk about something specifically on the podcast, and we attach some pictures or whatever to it, that's where you're going to find it. And then you'll be able to also, right through our Instagram, be able to follow us on where the podcasts are going to be available, and also a link to our YouTube where you'll be also be able to listen to us talk. So thank you so much.
And with that, see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.